महावीर बजरंगी तुम कहते हैं दुख भंजन।
हेलो, मैंने एक और लिंक भेजा है, मैंने खोला है अपनी विंडो में, देखो।
आपका हो गया ज्वाइन किया?
हाँ, मैंने ज्वाइन कर लिया, बट इसमें इनवाइट शेयर इनवाइट लिखा हुआ है, तो मैंने शेयर कर दिया इसीलिए।
हम अपने शेयर तो करते हैं, लेकिन अभी भी नहीं खुल रहा है, पता नहीं क्या हो रहा है। मेरे लैपटॉप में तो कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगी कहीं। मैंने कल ही अपना पूरा सिस्टम अपडेट करा है ना।
अब
आप
मैं
एक बार मेरे को अगर इनवाइट ही भेज सकते तो इनवाइट ही भेज दो, वहाँ पर जहाँ पर सेंड इनवाइट पर मीटिंग में जाके होता है, एक बार वहाँ पर देख लीजिएगा।
इन दिस मीटिंग 2 आर देयर, और मेरे तो इसमें कुछ आ ही नहीं रहा, डॉट्स भी नहीं आ रहे, मैं कैसे इनवाइट करूं किसी को? मुझे ये शेयर इनवाइट, वहाँ पे इनवाइट समवन विद डायल नंबर, समवन
इनवाइट ही नहीं भेज सकते
और
आप?
डायल नंबर। हाँ, मैं बना रही हूँ, देखो मैं इनवाइट कर रही हूँ, रिक्वेस्ट टू ज्वाइन, आपके पास आ रहा है?
हाँ, आ गया आ गया आ गया। थैंक यू थैंक यू थैंक यू, आ गया।
ये इसमें ना मेरे आगे 3 डॉट्स भी नहीं आ रहे थे अब आए।
आ गया, थैंक यू।
तो मैं आपको प्रेजेंटर बना दे रही हूँ।
हेलो अंजू मैम,
हाँ,
आवाज आ
या आई हैव मेड यू प्रेजेंटर मैम।
रही है? थैंक यू। अंजू मैम, ये टीएमएस का नाम क्या है? मुझे अपना पेयर डेक का लिंक शेयर करना है इसमें। अंजू मैम,
हाँ जी,
मैम मैं पूछ रही, जो मीटिंग है जिसमें चल रही है, ये कौन सी टीम में चल रही है? मुझे इसमें अपना लिंक शेयर करना है जरा ना, उसका पेयर डेक
हाँ
का।
मैंने आपको इसमें
तो
कैसे लिंक है? हाँ,
मैम मैं तो
किससे link?
लॉन्च करती हूँ, मैं तो पेयर डेक में ही लॉन्च कर देती पीपीटी को ना, उसमें सॉरी टीम्स में लॉन्च करना पड़ता है मैम मेरे को।
मैम ये है तो हमारी पीडीपी वाली ही, होम साइंस की, जो हमारी पीडीपी होम साइंस है ना,
मैम किस नाम से, इस टीम का नाम क्या है?
पीडीपीओ।
ADPO।
पीजीटी पीडी।
ओके, दिख गई 2021। हाँ मैम, फाइंड इट, थैंक यू
इसमें नहीं शेयर हो रहा मैम,
मैम। मैं अभी करती हूँ, मैं आपको बताती हूँ
चैट विंडो में कर
मैम।
सकते हैं
नहीं
मैम, रिकॉर्डिंग है।
हाँ मैं, हाँ उसमें ही डालूंगी, चैट विंडो में ही डालूंगी।
Good morning, Anju ma'am. Good morning, Anjana ma'am.
गुड मॉर्निंग मैम। Anita ma'am and Anju ma'am, you can also join in pure text.
Good morning, Anjuman.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, all, everyone. Good morning, teachers. I'm sharing my screen. Ranjana ma'am, can you see my screen? Anita ma'am?
No, ma'am, not yet. मतलब I don't know. मेरे यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा नेटवर्क इशू हो गया ना, that is the reason I connected through mobile.
Ranjana ma'am, I have
Ma'am,
sharing.
Anju ma'am, screen
ma'am,
पे
it was shared again,
click है।
but now it is not visible.
मुझे तो कुछ नहीं दिख रहा है.
Not
It was shared
visible.
again.
You have to stop stop sharing. I'm sharing.
Yes,
Can you
now.
see my screen?
Yes,
हाँ,
ma'am.
now it's
Yes,
visible.
ma'am. Now it is visible. Anjali, now it's visible.
So good morning, everyone, respected principals, illustrious dignitaries, and dear teachers. Under the dynamic leadership of our mentor, respected founder, sir, and esteemed chairperson, ma'am, we at Amity 46 have always believed that teachers have been entrusted with the care of future generation of our great nation. Therefore, they must continuously up their knowledge and skills so as to remain empowered in 21st century. I, Anju Midda, Head of Home Science Department, on behalf of AIS, welcome you to this online professional development program for the teachers hosted by AIS 46 under the guidance of our principal, Ms. Aarti Chopra, who has always inspired us with her innovative ideas. We offer our sincerest thanks to dear beloved Chairperson Ma'am, Mrs. Amita Chauhan, and Founder Sir, President uh, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan for having always been our guidance, light, and a beacon of excellence and a great source of inspiration. They have always inspired us to equip the teachers with the necessary tools that will enable them to nurture the children and in an enhanced learning environment. So let us now invoke Gayatri Mantra by playing Blessings of Almighty by playing this Gayatri Mantra.
भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवः स्वः भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्।
Now let's have blessing from our teacher, chairperson ma'am, sent by our beloved chairperson ma'am. Dear teachers, a guru or a teacher is the guiding light of universe. An educationist, I make sure that the role of the teachers at Amity is not just limited to exchange of knowledge, but also the founding pillars of happy world. Children are like a clean canvas, and the kind of colors splashed on this canvas will decide the painting they become in life. So, as a guru, you have to choose your colors carefully and paint each canvas in a unique way. Uh, and one careless stroke can spoil the painting forever. Hence, as you speak to your learners, choose your words with utmost care, as your one remark can make or break a child. The online professional development program 2021 organized for second year is an important step in this direction. Everyone's favorite president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, said, educationists should build the capabilities of the spirit of inquiry, creativity, entrepreneurial, and moral leadership among students and become their role model. So, kindle the innate creativity and inquisitiveness of young learners and sculpt them as a learner of life and learners for life. Imbue them with the spirit of inquiry in such a way that they grow up as seekers of knowledge beyond the books and boundaries. At Amity, we strive to give directions to the dreams of desires of every young life whom we nurture. Remember, the role of the teacher is more than just making their students brilliant in academics. Our aim is to nurture their innate skills and give their wings in a direction to fly unabated. As an educator, realize that this is not a task or only a few sessions or just the time that the child spends in school. It is lifelong process. If we wish to see them grow up in happy human being, so it is we have to give a good colors. So you as a teacher, your learners, the concept of science and maths, foster in them the respect for life, respect for elders, and respect for environment. As you teach them the basics of language, teach them the universal language of love. As you teach them the formulas of physics and chemistry, inform them about the formula of sharing and caring, which makes world the better place. As they become learner, they learn about economics, teach them the value of empathy that helps in running the economic and industries around the world. As they learn to run with wins in sports, inculcate in them the spirit of being sports in life. As they learn to write, teach them to script their own destiny by the decision makers of their own life. At Amity, our aim is to nurture seeker of life and learner who keeps on learning from everywhere, everyone, and every day. Dr. Nelson Mandela famously said, education is the most powerful weapon with which you can change the world. So, as a teacher, you have the power to change the world. You have the power to script the destiny of universe. You have the power to sculpt the future. This PDP has been designed in a way to ensure that together we shall enlighten every young life to fulfill the mission and vision of making India a vibrant knowledge hub by 2030, as envisaged by our founder president, and make it happen. Wishing you all the best. Thank you. Our principal, ma'am, Mrs. Aarti Chopra, a dedicated educationist with over 28 years of experience, is a firm expert of amalgamating the modern skills and teachers' empowerment in education. Ma'am was recently awarded with the prestigious CBSE Principals Award 2020. Thank you, ma'am, for providing this opportunity to the students in this crucial year of their school life. Now, I, on behalf of AIS 46, welcome Mrs. Ranjana Chand, ma'am, our resource person for today's uh, PDP. Ma'am, I offer you this Tulsi planter. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ranjana is a postgraduate in home science with specialist in extension education from SNDT Women's University, Mumbai. She was awarded by Dr. Dhiranji Dhanjibai Shah Memorial and Shrimati Putlibai Narayan Kothari Prize during MSc for securing highest GPA and best research. She is also having a bachelor's degree in education from Lady Irwin College, University of Delhi. She is having 6 years of experience for teaching home science. Her 2 research papers were published in International Journal of Home Science. She always strives to help students and to cultivate reliable habits and behaviors. Ranjana has optimistic personality and is committed to institute with her enthusiasm, nature, and her curiosity to learn and grow personally and professionally. She keeps positive approach to all the challenge and setbacks. Welcome, ma'am, once again. I offer you this sapling.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for welcoming me and introducing me so well. Thank you so much. Should I start, Anju, ma'am?
Yes, I have. You can share your screen.
Yeah. I request all the teachers to join me in Pure Deck. I have already shared the session code here and meetings chat box. And if just in case you're not able to see the chat box, here I'm sharing my screen for the same.
Yeah.
So just type joinpd.com in Google or in any of the web page, HTML, and then join a session. You have to type this code. Alright, I can start my class now. Okay, so in today's class, in today's PDP, we are going to discuss about the recent curriculum change, right? So we already know that there is a lot of changes being going on in our 11th and 12th class curriculum. So we are going to discuss about like how till how extent this curriculum change is the need of the time, or the changes which we have got in our curriculum is desirable or undesirable. Right? So we are going to discuss about them, and we are also going to talk about certain approaches, certain ways which we can follow in a class to make a class more enlightened and like more a child-centered approach way. So I want to share this quote and start the session. So one looks back with appreciation to the brilliant teachers, but with gratitude to those who touched with human feelings. The curriculum is so much necessary raw material, but warmth is the vital element for growing plant and the soul of the child. Right. So this quote is given by Carl Jung, and he also said that curriculum is necessary to follow, but what we have to do as a teacher, as a mentor, that we have to touch the life of the people. We have to implement each and everything whatever written in our curriculum, and we have to relate that thing with our students' life so that they can use it and find the meaning of education, a kind of successful thing or meaningful thing in their life. So okay, so before introducing it, I just want to see like what do you think that what we're going to know in today's topic, what all are the points we're going to discuss in today's topic. I want all the teachers to mention here. Yes, so we are going to talk about revised syllabus also, like what all changes we have got it. Recent changes in our syllabus. We're also going to know about that, like what are the additional topics we are having in this new curriculum. Yes. So moving further, let's just discuss the objectives or outcomes which we're going to get from today's class. From this today's PDP, it is not actually the class. So understand the new nomenclature of home science. So like apart from changing the curriculum, we also got a new nomenclature of home science, that is human ecology and family sciences. A totally new and different nomenclature, we can say. So changes in class 11th and 12th curriculum, what all changes we have received in 11th and 12th curriculum, we'll discuss them. Additional of new topics, there are many new topics which has been added, so we'll discuss upon them also. Curriculum and reasons for curriculum change, right? So why there is a need for curriculum change in home science and why it is so much needed and desirable. Aims of NCERT. So since earlier we were not following NCERT, but this time due to this change in curriculum we have started following NCERT. So what is the main objective of NCERT? We are also going to see that. Learnings, how learnings can be improved within the students, how CCE is helpful for students or to evaluate the students, that is continuous and comprehensive evaluation. And then we are also going to understand different approaches which can be used in a classroom to make a class more interactive, or that traditional way of teaching like discussion or lecture method can be overcome. So we're also going to understand those approaches. So let's just begin. So as you already know that the home science name has been changed and the new nomenclature is considered as like human ecology and family sciences, right? Even in our textbook, in a recent NCERT textbook, they have mentioned human ecology and family science on its cover page, right? So this textbook of human ecology and family sciences, which is earlier known as home science, has been developed uh, uh, with the vision and principles of National Curriculum Framework 2005 of the NCERT. The field of home science is known for is known by newer nomenclatures by this name, and it provides numerous avenues with interdisciplinary perspective, right? So if you will see after completion of every chapter in 12th class NCERT, they always provide certain career avenues and what are the jobs or what are the courses one can opt for making their career in that particular field, right? So there are various avenues or various like things which has been added here. It takes a holistic approach to address the pertinent issues related to work, employment and careers, keeping the quality of life a perspective, right? So this home science course is very purposeful, is like rich with a lot of things, and how can we make our future ready to develop our 21st life skills of work and livelihood and career, right? So we have to go with the world, right? So since we are in 21st century, and the course which we were having earlier, it was the same old course which I have also like studied during my like 11th and 12th time, right? And the same course we are following it from like from so many years. So there is a much needed thing. This curriculum change was a much awaited and much needed thing in our home science. Okay, so let's just see what like broad units we are having in 11th and 12th curriculum. So in first, we are having 11th curriculum. So it introduces the concept of home science. So we'll be understanding like what are the 5 fields of home science and how the home science emerges in India, right? And also we have in the first unit, we are also going to see that what are the various career avenues related to each field of home science. And then in the unit 2 we are having stages of adolescence and its related concerns, like there are many eating disorders, and then there is like textile and apparel chapter is there, like fiber to fabric chapter is there, right? So it is much broader than rather than just limited to adolescence. It is having like various other chapters through which adolescents can relate themselves, right? So while selecting the dress or while choosing any kind of fabric for themselves, so they can be this chapter can be helpful for them. Then in unit 3 we are having deals with the expanding interaction of the adolescent with others and family, school, community and society, and the need emerging from each of these contexts, right? So there are relationship with like others in our community. How can we build a successful relation with significant others in our community, right? So this chapter talks about it, and also like how media and various media channels are helpful for um, giving or disseminating the information in the society. Next we are having childhood and then adulthood stage, right? So for childhood we'll be discussing about like their clothing needs and their eating habits and their deficiency disease which a child might suffer during the time of childhood stages. And then there is adulthood stages, again it is like particularly mentioning about their clothing needs and then their like food habits and all, right? So for each stages, so this 11th class syllabus is being divided into unit wise, and the units are based on the stages of life, like adolescence, childhood and adulthood, right? So this is being divided as per the stages of life cycle. And 12th is more sorted because it is divided as per the different fields of home science. So the first is a general topic which is applicable, like which student can apply in their day-to-day life, and they can understand that how this like this home science and what type of livelihood they can choose later on with the help of this home science course. Okay, nutrition, food science and technology, this is one unit. And in this nutrition, foods and technology, there is various new addition of chapters, like there is food technology, there is catering services and management, so which was not there, totally new for us. And it was again very like good and different to teach them, because those primitive chapters and those old chapter has been removed or modified a lot. And then there is unit 3, human development and family studies. In human development and family studies, again there are chapters which is related to your special education and ECCE. Fabric and apparel, again one chapter is saying that is designing and design and like principles and elements of design, but that chapter is very interesting, so like which is good to have it. And then there are some other chapters also, like care and maintenance fabric, but the care and maintenance of fabric, it is there in terms of institution, in terms of organization, like how the care and maintenance of fabric done in hospitals or in hotels, right? So it is very like specific to related to our various big organization. And then there is resource management. So in resource management, like earlier we were having like practicals, like in which we have to do those check filling thing and like paint slip filling thing, but those has been removed. And in resource management, now we are having hospitality industries, that how hospitality is one of the part of our of our a booming industry, and it is the part like reason of globalization, and how one can make their career in hospitality. And then in communication and extension, we are having DCG, that is development, communication, and journalism, and different ways of DCG, which we can use in our society to make a development communication, to make our communication in a positive and effective way. So these all are the broad categorization of 12th curriculum, which was not like that in earlier syllabus. So earlier we were just having some of the units, and the same old repeated topics are there. For communication and extension, they usually just put some of the programs or schemes. But in this new curriculum, this communication and extension has given us broader way to understand. Okay, next I'm having one question in periodic. So do you think that by change in nomenclature of the subject of a subject home science will help the student to opt more for this? Okay, someone is writing maybe.
Yes, maybe it will be helpful.
Yes, ma'am. It can be helpful. Pranjali, ma'am, what do you think about this thing, like change in the name of a subject nomenclature? Is it going to help students, or is it going to help us to get more students, to pull more students in the subject?
I think the students will be more now, because the nomenclature is human ecology. So earlier home science is related to something home, so it is
Right.
better.
Right, and people with this home science have this notion that there is only, we have to cook, and there is like not more than that thing, right?
So
But
maybe,
actually,
maybe yes, maybe because of this nomenclature, they'll be attracted to this.
of course, yeah, right. Even I also think and hoping so. Yes, someone is also marking yes. But the thing is that we are even we also haven't started using it in our daily way, right? So we are, as a teacher, still saying home science. So I think that we also need to change ourselves and call it with the name of human ecology. So only then we'll be able to get ourselves into this particular thing, and maybe able to get more students in the subject. So first we have to change ourselves, and then we'll be able to put more students in this. Okay, according to your view, which class curriculum design is better, and why? Like, the 11th class curriculum is better, or the 12th class curriculum is better, the present one?
I think both have their own importance according to me. In 11th class, it's interesting, and in 12th class, it is more on from the perspective of the career. So
Careers, yeah, right. Yeah, so it means like by like after completion of the 12th class, they're able to understand that what they want to do in their life. They can have this clarity with each of the chapters.
Yes, ma'am. I also think because both of them are teaching subjects in detail, and then they are in 12th they are telling about what career options they are
Yes,
going.
yes. Okay, so let's just see what are the various additional topics in our home science and curriculum which are totally new. So these topics are mostly from our 12th class syllabus. So in food and nutrition, we have public nutrition and health. So earlier we were just doing meal planning and meal modification, but now we have to deal with public nutrition, public health, various schemes which has been comes for public nutrition and health. Like there is MDM, there is Annodata Yojana, there is NEP, there is a there is one national program for health something, and then there is catering of food service management. This is again totally new chapter. Food processing and food technology, again like totally different. Like how can we keep us like a food safe for a longer period of time? Like still this food processing is very old and primitive method in the form of canning, sorry, in the form of like pickling and sun drying. Okay, but what are the changes which comes in the subject and in this food processing, and which changes our life totally, like canning and pasteurization is one of the example for this food processing. And then food quality and food safety, we have like also having chapter related to various food hazards, which can like make anyone ill, right? So we can also having this chapter. And then in human development, we are having special education and support services, that why special education is needed and what are the various support services for helping them. And then there is management of support services, like management of support services for our vulnerable section of society. So what are the various support services for them? So vulnerable section may they have done uh, adolescents, and then women's and old age persons, so how they are vulnerable for the society. And then in fabric and apparel, we are having fashion design and merchandising. So this is totally new topic which we haven't seen earlier in our earlier curriculum. So this like apart from knowing elements and principles of design, we also need to know that how fashion comes to our houses. Okay, so how the fashion moves from from the wardrobe of fashion designer into our houses. And then production and quality control, how can we like produce large scale fabric, and how can we control the quality of those fabric. And then in resource management, we are having hospitality management. This is the new topic which we are having. And then in development communication, there is DCG, development communication journalism, how journalism or how communication can be used for development process. Media management and design production. And then media communication technology, how media and technology uh, has been used. Okay, how what are the various type of media and technology, how the information get disseminated to us through various communication technology. So these all are the new topics which was not there in the earlier curriculum, and due to this new topics, we can see that there is, you know, like lot of new things to know for us also. Okay, topic which I'm missing from a previous class. There might be some topic which you might be missing from a previous curriculum. Yes, therapeutic topics. Yeah, it was very broader in the previous curriculum, but here in this curriculum, it is very limited. It is limited only to old age person. Anita ma'am, do you want to say something on this topic which you might be missing from your previous curriculum?
I think so that so many topics. Actually, earlier we were studying therapeutics in lot more detail, but
Yeah,
now it
right.
is very compact. I think a very small portion is there. I
Yes.
mean, for which if somebody has to study, तो पूरा उसको अलग से आपको notes देना पड़ेगा, and you have to मतलब I mean it's very less according
Yeah.
to me. So that part should be increased at least for 2-3 diseases, like they should be added
Yeah, right.
systematically, because that field children should get that field, because
Exactly.
rest other things are there, public health is there, clinical is
Public
there,
health
but
is there.
clinics mein modification is absolutely missing.
Yeah, ma'am. And it is available only for old age person, not for
Yes,
other
that's
things.
something which I feel is completely lacking, which should be
Yes.
added.
Yeah.
What basically I feel is now the new curriculum it includes more from the career perspective. So they have
Yes.
introduced new topics so that children know about them if they want
Yeah.
to choose this as a career, because it's a vocational
Yeah. Right.
subject. So maybe because like all these things are not previously in the chapters, clinical
Hmm.
nutrition and all these things, but they are.
Yes, ma'am. So earlier it was not there, like things like things which they can do and how can they make their career in this particular field. So it was missing, it was not there in the previous class. But again, some topics like therapeutic topics is very less. Designing part of clothing, okay, I think designing is there, but weightage of the chapter is quite less. But it is there that designing elements and principle of design is there. Okay, that I think that ma'am is might be talking about the stitching area, stitching practical which we
Yes,
have.
yes, I'm
have
talking about that little
okay,
bit,
okay, okay,
because that's interesting. I feel, though
yeah,
personally I'm not that expert in that area, but still I feel थोड़ा सा वो interesting part होता है.
interesting होता है. And I also feel that students should also know the basic stitches. I think they
Basic stitches
must need to know that
actually.
how to tuck buttons and how to like
Yeah,
keep their things ready at that time,
I think
because
that was good.
they need such kind of skills at any time.
हाँ,
So that is, yeah, that is most important to make them more self-reliant.
But in this curriculum, they have added tie and dye. That is also a good thing. And previous we were doing stitching. So along with this, they should have added how to uh, finish the sample. So this will help them in stitching.
Right.
हाँ, I think मैम ये basic skills ज़्यादा important रहेंगी. Tie and dye तो हम कभी कभी करेंगे.
Tie
But
and dye was
stitching,
also there, ma'am, in
Yes, yes,
but
yes.
earlier
but
it was
With
there.
it
tie
Yes.
and
was in
dye,
11th
they
class. Yeah.
finish the sample. That will help them to fulfill
हाँ,
the basic skills also.
Uh,
How to finish the sample.
so finishing off those samples can be
Sample,
there.
yeah, but
हाँ,
stitching.
finishing part I think that's a better part. जैसे finishing of silk fabrics ऐसा ये वाला एक portion होता है ना. Wood,
Right.
common woolen fabrics. I think that is also think something which can be added in practicals at
Yeah,
least.
right.
I mean that the sample which they are pasting, they are doing hemming or running stitch on the side,
Yeah,
so that it will make it a proper hanging. That will fulfill the skills of
yeah, skills
basic
of.
skills of stitching.
Even I also miss that part in which the students have to fill check or paint slip, because that also give a lot of information that how can they fill their checks or a paint slip or any demand draft if it is needed according to the time. So that also got deleted, and it was also quite interesting practical which was there earlier and helpful for the students. Okay, topics which I am enjoying to teach in my new curriculum. Yes, so career related thing is very important, and it's very like students takes a lot of interest that what can they like, how can they make their career in that particular field, like food technology or in various catering services, even in hospitality industry, right? So it is very interesting for them to know. Yes, ma'am. Food safety and food technology. Again, I agree. I also vote for these two topics that I really enjoy to teach this topic, because there are a lot of materials available in the form of video, like so much interesting videos are available related to this food safety and food technology. So we can also use those things as a tool in a class. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, next we're having home science and its curriculum. So home science is an area of knowledge which is essential for learners for both male and female. So it is not like only uh, girls can pursue home science in their career later. Okay, so it is equally important for boys also to understand and handle more efficiently their personal life, their resources, their interpersonal relationship in life, right? So these all are the chapter which is the part of a home science curriculum. And if anyone will take home science and study the home science curriculum, they'll be able to to do their day-to-day life in a more easy way. Okay, so they also they can get to know that what are their resources, what are their hidden resources, and how can they use them judicially. Home science curriculum has the power to empower the learners with all these necessary skills, and these skills are important throughout their life, because they can skills which we receive in home science, right? That basic nutrition knowledge again is very important to understand. Okay, like understanding like which nutrients are important for increasing or for boosting our immunity, which they understand in this like in our syllabus, right? What are the different ways through which we can modify our meal by simply changing the consistency of the meal, or by changing the method of cooking can also change our meal, can also modify our meal, right? So these simple things they can use in their day-to-day life, and which is going to be helpful a lot for them. And apart from this, it also provides career scope for the professional avenues and for higher education and career opportunities. There is a range of profession which caters to various health and services institutions, agencies, educational organization, industry, business houses of textile garment, food industry, teaching learning materials, ergonomically and appropriate equipments and work situation. So this home science is not only limited to our cooking, it is actually much broader than what we are thinking, because we can see that there are various fields in home science, and in each field there is multiple career options in which the students can make their career. So this is all about home science curriculum, like how our curriculum is being planned. Okay, so what is the definition of curriculum? So according to Cunningham, curriculum is a tool in the hands of the artist, and we teacher are the artist to mold his material. Pupils are students according to his ideals, their aims and objective in his studio or school. So school is considered as an studio. So this definition has been given by Cunningham. So a curriculum needs to be in the hand of the teacher, and the teacher needs to be very effective while delivering their topics in the class. Also, the Mudaliar Commission has said the curriculum includes all the learner experiences in outside that are included in the program, which has been devised to help them develop physically, emotionally, socially, spiritually, and morally. So, Mudaliar Commission definition about curriculum is totally related to our present curriculum of home science, because we are giving the information, we are um, preparing our students for inside and for outside programs, for inside and for outside challenges. Okay, and we are also making our students to be physically, emotionally, socially, spiritually, morally strong, right? So these all part have been fulfilled through our home science curriculum. Next, Saylor and Alexander say that curriculum is a total effort of the school to bring about desired outcomes in the schools and out of the school situations. Again, Saylor also said that curriculum should not only be restricted to the books and to our rote learning. We have to make our education or our curriculum in such a way which is helpful to the student throughout their life. The learners are expected to actively participate in learning process. So like students should need to take interest there, right? Only then they are going to participate in the learning process. The activities have been designed to enable the individuals to respond to the situation in logical, sensitive, and positive way without harming their self or the society, right? So these all things needs to be fulfilled, and it is getting fulfilled through our home science present curriculum. Okay, why there was a need for changing in our home science curriculum? So I was saying you, like, I have done my 12th in 2007. So on that time I was having the same curriculum which I was teaching after 7 years of my 12th, right? So I was teaching the same thing, right? So there is a thing like that course was very prevalent. So the previous methods and objectives are not to fulfill the need of the academic and vocational objective, because the previous method which we were having in our previous curriculum, it was not fulfilling the objective of vocation. The previous curriculum was not working finely because it was the same old primitive method. So it needs certain improvements, and the improvement has been done now. There is a need to modify the curriculum for the future perspective of the student, the market, the time. Okay, so the time is changing, the market is changing, the various programs is being adding on, right? So it was totally lacking in that. in the previous curriculum, right? So so there is an addition of lot more new things in our present, in our recent curriculum. So it is updated, it is up to date, it is with the time. So it is going with the time now. Okay, so this is one case study based question. So Samaira is a school teacher from last 10 years. Initially, she was very happy and delighted with her job, but now she got bored for teaching the same old chapters and the topics every day. How this problem can be solved? There can be multiple ways. It's not only related to curriculum, but there can be multiple ways through which she can use and make her classes more interesting. I want teachers to please put your answers here. Yes, ma'am, very well said. The revision in curriculum can be the one thing through which like every teacher can feel happy and like can see themselves also as growing. So introducing new teaching methodology, yes, perfect. She like we can use various new teaching methodology apart from the lecture method. We can use other methodology also for teaching. Yeah, we can also use various new technologies. Yes, ma'am. Very well said that we can use some fun-based activities, right, ma'am? Very well said. Thank you. So various teaching methodology, we can also use interesting tools in a class for disseminating the information. Okay, the importance of curriculum in the system of education is not is just like a dash. So there are various options. Sorry. Okay, so it can be anything. It can be preparation of students for service. So if the curriculum is going to be changed, so it can help them for their service. So constitution in a country, yes, it is also meant for the country benefits and provision of latest knowledge. Like we can add various latest knowledge and various technology in our curriculum. Okay, next there is one video on change. I'll just share my screen here. Right, so it is very clearly visible in the video that how the monotony in the life can make anyone distressed and unhappy, right? And a single change can bring a lot of new things in their life, right? So this is about change, and this is a change which we needed in our home science curriculum as well, which has been there now. Okay, now the principle which we often use in the process of implementing a new curriculum. So while introducing any new curriculum, following principles needs to be fulfilled. So the first is making a sense why the new curriculum is necessary, right? So there should always be certain reasons or certain, like genuine things that why there is a need of changing curriculum. Understanding the process in change process. Okay, so till how extent we can change a process, there is certain addition and deletion of chapter which keeps on going on, but how, like, till how extent we can do that to build capacity. So the curriculum change, whatever is changing, it should be like that which can build the capacity of the learners. Developing the culture of learning, so we can develop a new culture of learning in a new way. Developing the cultures of evaluation, so the evaluation way can also be changed. Developing the leadership for change, so if the curriculum is changing, definitely the leadership of the curriculum needs to be changed. Now we have changed the name of our home science curriculum, so definitely it is going to lead us in some new and positive way, using the already existing ideas in schools. So whatever idea was earlier using in our curriculum, so we also need to use that a little bit. We can't totally deviate from our previous curriculum, so that is also needed, right? So these all are the points which we have to consider before putting any changes in our curriculum. Okay, next there is one rating scale in straw poll. I'll just share the link in chat box. Share the link in chat box. I want all the teachers to quickly just click on the link and you'll be able to answer there. Okay, so which principle is most important for implementing a new curriculum? We can mark for multiple answers. Okay, so developing the cultures of learning and developing the cultures of evaluation profit. So 50-50 we have got for this. Yes. Okay, component of curriculum. So these are, okay, what can be considered as a component of curriculum? Teaching strategies, objective, evaluation, or all of the above. What can be considered as component of curriculum? The question is in Pure Deck. Yes, very well said. So all the things comes under the component of curriculum. We can have various teaching strategies. We can use like different objectives. Evaluation method can be differ, right? So these all are the various components of curriculum. Okay, next we're having aim of NCERT. So let's just understand what is the aim of NCERT for changing a syllabus, or for for creating any kind of syllabus. So they make the syllabus an enabling document for the creation of textbooks that are interesting and challenging, not only loaded with factual information, right? So NCERT textbook are not only having the factual information, it is also loaded with various informations or various challenges, like there are various games and puzzles are also being given in our NCERT books. So it develop and disseminate innovative education techniques and practices. So what all are the different and innovative practices we can use in our teaching? So in NCERT there is explanation for those innovative techniques also, like what methods or what practical or what a teaching aid we can use for introducing of any particular topic. So after completion of every chapter, there are various activities given in the book. So basically, the NCERT syllabus is theme based, and the theme which they choose for their books is self-explanatory. It means that the language of the book is very simplified. It is not very difficult. Even a student who want to do self-study, they can do the self-study also, because the language is very simple and self-explanatory. Also, it is having potentially cross-disciplinary nature. Okay, so NCERT syllabus is potentially cross-disciplinary. It means it relate and represent more than one branch of knowledge. Okay, so NCERT is not only related to only a few facts and like till the topic. It is having like various vast knowledge and like related topics which is related to them. So if it is suppose tie and dye, right? So apart from tie and dye, there is batik also, there is block printing also available, right? So it is having cross disciplinary nature. It means related information are also being presented in the books. NCERT is constituted and like an expert committee consisting of various experts from various universities and institutions in the country. So they just don't take one teacher or two teacher for developing the NCERT book. There is whole panel, or you can say like whole committee is there, who develop the material, or who develop related topics for their curriculum. So NCERT constituted an expert committee from various universities. Okay, next there is one question in Mentimeter. I'll just share the link again. Okay, I have shared a link here on Teams chat box. Okay, so the question which this Mentimeter is asking, according to you, did NCERT able to reconstruct home science course in an effective way? So you can ask, so you can mark your options, relate like agree, disagree, or partially agree. Okay, next there are certain characteristics of learning, that how learning can take place in our schools, in our classrooms. Okay, so all children are naturally motivated to learn and are capable of learning, right? So all students need to be naturally motivated for learning, and by introducing or by using various teaching aids, we can make the learning more easy for them and more creative for them. Children learn in a variety of ways through experience. Everyone have their some experience, okay, and every student has come with various sort of experiences, right? So we have to utilize that experience. We first need to ask the students before introducing any topic point blankly. First we have to like understand it what knowledge, what pre-existing knowledge they're already having, right? So after knowing their pre-existing knowledge, it will be like easy for us as a facilitator or as a teacher to improve or to like put addition in their knowledge, right? So suppose if we are taking any nutrition topic, so let's just ask them that what do you know about nutrition, what are the various type of nutrients, what are fat soluble or water soluble nutrients. So if the student is able to answer them right, so we can add some more knowledge, we can like put some more information into their um, pre-existing knowledge. So in a classroom, the learning should be experimental, reading, discussion. We can also ask them listening, thinking and reflecting, and expressing one's in speech, movement, or writing both individually and with others, right? So we can have such kind of learning methods. Learning takes place both within the school and outside the school, so it is not necessary that learning can be done only through the books. We learn from our experiences also, we learn from some other experiences also, right? So learning should needs to be goes on. Learning must be placed so that it allows learners to engage with concepts and deepen understanding, right? So learning should also needs to something which enhance the students knowledge, their understanding, their concepts, and making meaning and developing the capacity of abstract thinking, because they all are adolescents, like we teach adolescents, so their abstract thinking part is already there. So we have to develop their abstract thinking part. The reflection and work are most important aspect of learning. So based on this learning, I'm having one interesting video that how learning takes place in various places, not only in a home. I'll just share my screen again. Okay.
Let's talk about learning for a minute. Do you know how learning happens? When most people think about learning, they usually think about schools, colleges, or teachers. But in reality, learning has a much broader connotation. For instance, if I were to ask you, what was your most recent learning? You'd probably give an example of a recent life experience that has little or nothing to do with a school, college, or teacher. So, how was it that we learned about the very things we associate learning with? Well, let's think of something as simple as you misplacing your phone. If we were to look a little deeper into what really happened in that process, it would look something like this. You came home from work and you realized you didn't have your phone with you. You then thought about the last time you used your phone, which was in the cab that dropped you home. You then deduce that you've left your phone in the cab. So, from this experience, you'll be careful to check the cab seat for belongings before you step out in the future. So, is that learning? What if I were to say, no, not quite? To understand how learning really happens, we have to not only think about the experiences associated with it, but also the impact those experiences cause. Let's say, several months from your lost phone incident, you've acquired a travel buddy. You and your friend travel to and from work every day. He notices you step out of the cab and take a look inside to ensure you haven't forgotten anything. He does the same thing. Soon enough, he finds himself doing this even when you're not around. For your travel buddy, the idea of looking inside the cab didn't happen from his own experience. It happened through a meme, an idea or behavior that spreads from person to person within a culture. But you know what happens? And I think it's because we see it explicitly. We often confuse learning with its trigger. Teaching merely preemptively imparts knowledge. On the other hand, an experience leads to a realization that changes behavior and habit, causing individual learning. We at MemCorp are concerned with building learning cultures for our clients, and we do that by creating rich.
All right, so we know that we also always, like strive to make the students to understand the concept, but until unless they are not using their hands on learning, they are not using it practically, they will not be able to understand or grab the concept easily, right? So we have to focus on learning instead of knowledge, because if we teach them the rote learning way, so it will be very difficult to like to stay that thing in their mind for a longer period of time, right? So we have to give them a hands of learning through practical knowledge, which can help students to learn better. So learning is more about like going through the process, or like actually using it. That makes the learning process easy. Okay, next there is importance of CCE, that how continuous and comprehensive evaluation is important and needed. So it helps the teacher to organize effective teaching and strategies. Also, CCE helps in regular assessment to extent and degree of learners' progress, right? So, we already following the CCE method in our schools and in our curriculum also. Like we every time used to take like UT1, UT2. Like there are various unit tests are going on, and then there is summative test, like broader test goes on, which makes the students and the teachers to understand that how much information is being used by them or utilized them. Continuous evaluation serves to diagnose weakness and permits the teacher to ascertain an individual learner's strength and weakness and by needs. Through this CC method, the children can also know their strength and weakness, because there is continuous evaluation and there is repetition of chapters also. So they can also understand that which chapter they need to focus more, on which unit they need to focus more. It helps in making decision for the future regarding the choice of subject, courses and career, right? So if in any particular chapter or in any particular unit they are doing it well, so they can understand that they can have this like they can use this knowledge for their later life also, and they can make their career in this particular field. So the CC method is being introduced in 2009, and according to CC there should be like regular and continuous evaluation of students. So it shouldn't be like this, that they're going to give their only term 1, term 2 and term 3 exam. So the evaluation needs to be continuous and comprehensive throughout the year. It is needs to be done throughout the year. So whatever we are teaching to them, we are taking the test, or we are under or having projects from them. So this CC has been done in two forms. Some are scholastic assessment and some are co-scholastic assessments. So in scholastic assessment, there are formative assessments and summative assessments. So formative assessment will be having like small quizzes or projects or research work, which we have in our curriculum as well. And in summative assessment, we are going to take like full 100 marks test or 70 marks test for their knowledge. Okay, so in summative assessment, it should have a mix of short answers, flexible timing needs to be there. Also, there should be like written question, open-ended question needs to be there. And informative, it should be having more of oral questions, assignments. We can also understand that how their conversation skill is there. So we also take Viva in home science related to this. And in scholastic assessment, there should be various things which is there. So not only like things or like exam which they're supposed to give, so they also need to work on their communication skills, their interpersonal skills, their creative thinking, co-curricular activities, what they're doing apart from giving exams and performing in those exams. So what other things they are doing. So this is also the part of co-scholastic assessment. So the curriculum or learning should also based on co-scholastic and scholastic assessment, both way. And we have to assess our students in both of the ways. Okay, next there is one question, like feedback kind of question in Answer Garden. I'll just share my screen and the link. I have shared the link here for Answer Garden. Okay, various core scholastic assessment that we do in home science. So what are the various core scholastic assessment that we can do in our home science curriculum? Anju ma'am, can you please share your ideas that what are the various core scholastic assessment that we can do in home science? Anju ma'am, Pranjali ma'am, what are the various core scholastic assessment that we can do in our home science? We can use it.
I think I have mentioned project-based assessments can be there, case study-based assessments can be there, and I think some kind of market research work can also be added to
Right.
it. And label project that we already do, I think that's also an interesting thing. Like more of practical hands-on activities could be included. Apart from this, what I feel is like presentation PPT, because now we are learning all technology. So I
Right.
think the similar things should be extended to students. So they should be asked to present their work on certain topics, which could be kept for 5 marks, maybe or 3 marks, depending upon the assessments that we take.
Right,
So
ma'am.
I think
So
that can be good.
right. So we can have core scholastic assessment in the form of a practical, like we can use more of a practical, and those practical can be considered as core scholastic assessment, like how each student is doing their practical work. They're having project also, so we can also have yes.
And how they do various type of cooking, which they do, that also helps them to learn various skills. Then again, tie and dye and
Right.
chart and poster making activities, all these help them to increase
Yeah.
their skills.
Moreover, what I think is like in online class, we cannot do more of the practical. But what I do in the beginning of the lesson, I always take concept test for
Okay.
10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. Just the previously what we had done, and then application based test. So just to
Okay.
test knowledge what they have understood.
Yes, 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 mom. This is, I think, a very good idea which we can like begin a class every time. Like we can ask for their responses or what knowledge they have gathered from their previous class chapter. Yeah, right. Perfect. Okay, now there are different approaches which we can use in a classroom. So the first is constructivism. So constructivism is something in which we are allowing the students to construct their knowledge. So we are not imparting anything we're not teaching them in the form of lecture way. So it is one of the scientific position in which the knowledge arises through the process of active construction. So the student construct the knowledge on their own. They recognize learners to construct new understanding, knowledge, integrating with what they already know, right? So the students, like I have told you in the beginning also, like we have to understand what is their pre-existing knowledge and how can we introduce more into this, right? So everyone have certain schemas, right? So we have to first assimilate, like whenever we introduce any topic, so we assimilate the information into them, and when the child start using the information, then it is known as accommodation, right? So we have to just give a hint to the child, not instead of explaining the whole process or the whole concept, we can just give them a hint and they can construct the knowledge on their own, they can gather the information on their own. Okay, there is one very interesting video for constructivism, how we can develop or how can we go with constructivism as an approach in a class.
We'll try to look into how we can effectively use 5E model of constructivist approach in the teaching learning process by an modified old story of blind men and the elephant. 5E model, which has 5 steps, they are engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. This is considered to be one of the best model under constructive approach of teaching learning. Here, teacher of a blind school takes 3 blind students and they come across different parts of the elephant. Blind students represents here students' perception on a new concept. Blind students are assigned a task to perceive on elephant by touching. Each student approaches the elephant from different directions. Using their own perception, the student explains to their teacher about the elephant in the classroom. In turn, each blind
So each child has touched different part of the elephant, and the teacher hasn't disclosed the fact that the object which you are touching is an elephant, right? So let's just see how the students are coming with their ideas.
students creates their own assumptions from their previous experiences and perspectives. Teacher hears all the 3 students' explanations about the elephant, where one says it's like a slave. The second student expressed it as a human arm. And the third student predicts elephant as tree. Teacher inquires and gives further explanation on the concept of elephant, based of student assumptions and perceptions to arrive into a common concept of elephant. Lastly, teacher confirms correct concept of students on elephant through evaluation. The zone of proximal development, ZPD, is
So this is what they're having as their prior knowledge. So someone is thinking that it is might be a slate, and then someone is thinking that it is might be a tree because it was very long, and someone is thinking that it is like your hand. So this is their prior knowledge, and after knowing the fact, they understand that this is not all these objects. This is just an animal, elephant.
the difference between what a learner can do without help and what he or she can do with help. It is a concept developed by Soviet psychologist and social constructivist Lev Vygotsky.
This is one way or one approach we can use in our classes to make our teaching more effective. And as a teacher, we can pose questions, we can ask for the problems, okay, instead of directly introducing any topic. Like Pranjali ma'am has also said that she always reinforce the topic which she has done in the previous class, okay. So we can also reinforce certain topics or topic which we have already done, and then we can ask for their feedback that what we're going to do in today's class. So we have to construct the knowledge instead of just simply introducing any new topics to them. Okay, next we are having okay, this constructive method approach we can use with the topics like meal planning and then meal modification. We can use this topic for like for changing in method of consistency, for tie and dye, for stain removal. For all this topic we can use this constructism method. Next there is inquiry based learning. So in inquiry based learning, it allows the student to pose thought-provoking questions which inspire students to think for themselves and become more independent learners, right? So there are four phases in this type of learning. One is interaction, clarification, third is questioning, and the fourth is designing, right? So as a teacher, we can use all this phase of inquiry-based learning. We can like simply interact with the teacher, with the students, and understand that what is their knowledge, and we can then start clarifying the things and then again start questioning the things from them, and then later we can tell them to design the concept or to design the question on your present knowledge, right? So designing again is very important, so that they can also know how to ask question in a classroom, and how questions can be asked from their any chapter, from their any units. So inquiry based learning is again very important, and like good way of approach we can which we can use in a class. Yeah, there is one video also based on this.
Inquiry-based learning has existed for thousands of years. Both Socrates and Confucius used variations on their own inquiry-based format. It's a critical component to the scientific method of the early Enlightenment, and it was a core idea of both Dewey and Montessori's ideas around student-centered learning. Pedaste shares a model of the four phases of inquiry. It starts with orientation, which is often a form of discussion. It's where they become aware of the key idea. And from there, it moves into conceptualization, where students generate questions and they define a hypothesis. This leads to an investigation phase, where students explore, experiment, and interpret data, often in a way that's flexible and dynamic. It can even seem kind of cyclical. And then finally, they move into a conclusion. Heather Banshee and Randy Bell defined four different types of inquiry that you can view on sort of a spectrum from teacher-centered / structured into learner-centered / open. Level 1 is confirmation inquiry, where the teacher teaches the concepts, creates the questions, and models the process for students. They basically just kind of go along with it to learn about the process. Level 2 is structured inquiry, where the teacher creates the initial set of questions and kind of shares the procedures, but then the students walk through the rest of the inquiry process by collecting and analyzing the data and drawing their own conclusions. Level 3 is guided inquiry, and this is sort of the beginning of what we typically think of as inquiry. This is where the teacher provides the initial research question or questions, but students own the research process and the experimentation. And then level 4 is open inquiry or true inquiry. Here's where students formulate their own questions, design their experiments or their research, and collect their own data or facts that they then share in their findings. The key
So this is the key idea, like instead of being a teacher-centered approach every time, we have to do with the child-centered approach. We have to let the student to think like how the question can become, right? So we have to allow this with the students to think more. Okay, so topic which we can have through inquiry-based learning, it can be any topic. We can just first clear their concept, and then later we can ask them to generate their more questions or more interesting thing from those topics, right? So any topic can be covered through the inquiry-based learning in home science. Topics like particularly like understanding of different types of fabric and analyze label of any garment, right? So these all are some of the topic which we can use in which topics we can use this inquiry based learning as one of the effective tool. Okay, next we're having cooperative learning. So it encourages students to mix abilities to work together by promoting small groups or whole class activities. So we all know that there is project in our home science. So there is a 5 marks board project. So in that board project, we can include this cooperative learning where every we can take a group project and the students can work together and their different information, their different like notions can be used together in creating one good project, right? So cooperative learning, there is more positive interdependence, there is like more of social skills, there is a group processing skills, there is individual accountability, like what individual person, like how individual person is putting their efforts into the project, and then there is more face to face interaction, right? So like in this pandemic, the face to face interaction is not possible in physical way, but through online method they can discuss their project and they can like build a good project through this way. So cooperative learning again is very important, which we can go. So this is again like quite different than the primitive method which we are using. Okay, there is one video also for cooperative learning.
In cooperative learning, puts students in small groups to do an activity together. The students take the lead in doing the activity.
There are two videos going together.
Students in small groups to do an activity together. The students take the lead in doing the activity. The teacher only provides guidance as needed. The teacher does not put the same students together for each activity, but changes the groupings. That way, students can learn from a variety of partners. So in cooperative learning, the teacher puts students in groups, lets them take the lead in doing the activity, and changes the groupings for different activities. This method helps students learn about sharing, getting along with others, and working together.
Cooperative method of teaching, we can have diverse thinking, we can have like multiple ideas from each student, and we also we always need to like put different like mix students in one group. Okay, next there is last approach. This is multiple intelligence approach. So every teachers, I think you all as a facilitator or as a teacher must be aware about it, about a student's potential, right? So every student have different potential, have different information, right? So we always need to like make those multiple intelligence approach we have to use, and we have to put different intelligence approach students together. So group your students according to their talents and potential. So a person may have two or more dominant intelligence, right? So this has been given according to the Gardner that it is not necessary that everyone have the same knowledge. Each individual have two or more than two level of intelligences. So as a teacher, we always need to like put like variations in our group. Okay, so in our project and practical work, we can have different variation, different mind, which who can work together. Okay, there is one more video based on your cooperative learning, sorry, multiple teaching, multiple intelligence.
Hello.
तो सब्र का समय खत्म होता है, वेट करने का समय खत्म होता है.
Hello. This presentation is by Abby Hutchinson. And I'm so excited to share this video about multiple intelligences. All right, so first things first, what is multiple intelligence? What a great question. It is a learning theory that was suggested in 1983 by Howard Gardner. It's composed of 8 categories. The theory of multiple intelligences actually broadens the definition of an intelligence. It recognizes individuals may have high intelligence in an area outside of what we think of the traditional areas of intelligence, math and English. In fact, Most people have more than one area of intelligence. So let's take a look at what the 8 areas are. The first area is linguistic. These sorts of people are good with words, reading, and verbally expressing themselves. Next up are the logical mathematical intelligences. These sorts of people think scientifically. They quickly process data and numbers. They do it spontaneously and quickly. Third is the spatial intelligence. These individuals are good with visual cues, and they can easily navigate, do directions, design things, draw things. They can create. Now on to musical intelligence. These individuals like songs, rhythms, patterns, tunes. They're always connecting content to song. The ways students approach concepts. All right. The different intelligences affect the ways students approach concepts and instruction that you give them in the classroom.
Different students use their different level of intelligence because everyone have their different dominant intelligence level. So as a result, whenever there is any group work or project work, we have to put mix of students. So it also help us in seeing the monotony in the work, like not to see the monotony in the work. And with this last slide, I would like to say thank you with this beautiful quote. So all the students can learn and succeed, but not in the same way and not in the same day, right? So we have to give them their appropriate time, as every student has different caliber to understanding, different intelligence level. So this quote has been given by William J. Spady. Thank you, everyone. I hope that the session is quite informative for all of you. Anju ma'am, you're muted.
Thank you, Ranjana ma'am, for your analytic view about the session. Deep. Thanks. It was such a insightful listening today in your session. We all got clear idea about what are the recent changes in curriculum and home science and what we can do to inculcate good learning in the students. We have learned various tools. We have learned about Mentimeter. We have learned about Answer Garden and many other tools which you have used, Piaget. Thank you. So in home science class, we got the immensely benefited on various aspects such as new nomenclature of home science, addition of new topics, reasons for curriculum changes, and aim of NCRT to do these changes, continuous and comprehensive learning on CCE, and different approaches to be used in classroom. Though a very powerful presentation, so through your quizzes and all this thing, thank you so much, ma'am. We would like to express our gratitude, Ranjana ma'am, for sparing time and expertise to enhance our proficiency in the online mode of dissemination of knowledge and making valuable additions to the teaching pedagogy at our Amity Institute. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Chanchal ma'am, for being there. Thank you, everyone, for making it a successful. It has been a wonderful, evocative session, and we all have learned new things that we could assimilate in our teaching environment. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Anita ma'am. Thank you, Pranjali ma'am. Thank you, Chanchal ma'am. And thank you.
Thank you, all the teachers.
Before leaving, I'll take one photograph and
yes,
ma'am. And before leaving all of you, I have shared one form, feedback form also.
Filled, Anju ma'am. I have filled it.
Okay, thank you so
much. I have filled it.
Pardon? Pardon, ma'am?
Ma'am, Anita ma'am has already filled it, ma'am.
Okay.
I have filled it, and we join back at 12. No, it's 10:30, so yeah. 11, right?
11.
Okay. Thank you so much. We'll join again for next session. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, ma'am.
So we need to do stop recording, or it will be done. Yes, Chanchal ma'am, you can leave the meeting. I don't know how we have to do. Okay.
नहीं लास्ट टाइम जो किया था शीला मैम कहती एंड नहीं कर देनी थी,